What's up everybody, this is Vic from the Online Starting Block. So in this video, we're going to connect WordPress with Bluehost. So in the previous video, I actually installed Bluehost and WordPress actually came with it. Now we're going to quickly set up WordPress and then we'll go from there. If you have been following the series of how to create a personal website, check the link in the description. There is a checklist for you to follow. You can download it for free download. And then from there, you'll be able to follow along with what I've been doing in this series, which is creating a personal website. All right, so let's get going. So I'm here. Let me first go to Bluehost and let me log into my Bluehost account, which has the account called a personal study. All right, a personalstudy.com. Let me go ahead and add the password here. So that is there. All right, so now I'm in my Bluehost account. So in the last video, we actually installed WordPress. I don't know if you remember all those options that was asking you about your blog, and some of them were to say to skip the step, and it asked you what do you want to name your website and stuff like that. So WordPress got installed. So WordPress is where you actually build your website, and WordPress is installed within your Bluehost server. So WordPress is actually an application that is installed within your Bluehost server. That's the best way I can explain it. So to log into WordPress, you actually want to go into your Bluehost account, and on the right side, look where it says log into WordPress. So you want to go here. And so what it's doing right now is setting up WordPress for the very first time. And now I am in WordPress. So this is the back end of WordPress, also known as the dashboard. There's a lot of options here on the side. I'm going to talk about it, but I'm not going to talk about everything because a lot of these we're actually going to delete right now. But I do want to show you that if I was to go to the top left where it says, well, for me it says a personal study, it will be your own website name. If I was to highlight it and click on visit site, what you're going to see right now is the front end. So this is the front end of the website. It says hello world, and this is the front end for 2022. All right, and to get back to the back end, you want to highlight the name of your website right here and then go to dashboard. The dashboard is the back end. That is actually where you would update your website. And by the way, this is known as WordPress. Like I said, WordPress is actually the software of where you update your website. And I'll actually have a video coming up soon that is going to show you the main parts of WordPress. But for now, let's quickly set this up so you can go ahead and get your website going. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to delete all these extra plugins. So to do that, you want to go on the bottom left and look where it says plugins, and then go to installed plugins. Plugins are like additions to a site. So if you have like a house, think of like your alarm system as an addition. So that's plugins. If you have your phone, think of your apps as additions to your phone. In the website, they call those extra apps, they call them plugins, same thing. All right, so I'm at install plugins. So I gotta do is scroll down until you see a list right here. And once you see all this, now this is the list of plugins that you have. So from here, what you wanna do is you wanna go and next to the plugin option right here, you wanna click on the check, which highlights all of this. You just go all the way down next to bulk actions, click on deactivate, and then click apply. So some of the plugins are active. The one that's highlighted in blue are active plugins, and the ones that's highlighted in white are not active plugins. So I actually want to deactivate everything. So I've just deactivated all the plugins, and as you can see, it looks a lot cleaner right now. So the next thing I want to do now is I actually want to delete all the plugins. So if I was to go on the left side, next to plugin, click the check mark, and there's bulk actions right here, and I can even scroll down. It's the same bulk actions, same thing, and then I will go to delete, and then click apply. Say okay. And it's going to delete all the plugins one by one so we can start on a clean slate. Now just know with plugins, you have to deactivate a plugin before you delete it. If a plugin is already active and you go ahead and try to delete it, it will not work. So you actually have to first deactivate, then delete. Deactivate, delete. Deactivate, delete. So that's the order. All right, so everything's been deleted. So let me refresh the page. And now that it's refreshed, let me go back to the dashboard home, which is on the left side right here. So click on dashboard and then the home page of the dashboard. And now this is WordPress. This is the home screen, and this looks much better and much cleaner. And this is a new WordPress version. It just came out. There's a lot of new additions to this. There's a new editor here and stuff like that, which I don't know how to use that yet. But let me actually click on dismiss. All right, so the first thing to do now that we have this option here is let's go to settings and in general. Like I said, I'll have a video that talks about all these main parts later on, but let's quickly set this up. All right, so when you go to settings general, from here you see the site title and the tagline. If you remember when we were setting up WordPress on Bluehost, there was an option where you had your site title and your tagline. Then I said that you can update it later. Well, this is where you can update it. So you can change the name of your site title, and this would change what's up here. And also if I was to go to visit site at the home page, let me go to right now, it would change the name of the site right here in the front. And you can put a logo there if you want. But let's go back to the dashboard, and then let's go back to settings general. So you can change it if you want. We'll keep it here. The tagline, you can keep that or you can take it away. That's fine. Now your WordPress address. So if you have an address that does not look like your domain name, it looks like a whole bunch of characters and numbers and stuff like that, just leave it as it is. Within 24 hours, it will actually automatically go to whatever your WordPress address is. So when you install Bluehost, you may have to wait like 12 to 24 hours and then go back to Bluehost and then go into WordPress, and you will then see your website's name right here. That's how you know what your website name is. So we're gonna leave this here for now because there's something that I do want to do, but right now we're gonna leave this as it is. For your administrative email address, that's the email that you sign up with. And then from here, what is your role? Keep everything as it is. Your time zone, you want to make it whatever it is. So if you're in Eastern time zone, I guess Eastern is New York. So literally one of the ways you can do it is you can click the drop down, and then New York is NEW, New York, how you spell it. So you want to type in NEW very quickly, NEW. And as you see, New York just appeared right there. If you are in the Central time zone, I think it's Chicago, so CHI. So Chicago, type it real quick, it pulls up. If you are in the Mountain time zone, I think Arizona, so Phoenix, so I think it's PHO. So that's Phoenix right here, and that's your Phoenix time zone. And then if you are in the Pacific, that's Los Angeles, so you want to type in LOS. So Los Angeles, that's it right there. So that's what that is. Or you can just use the general time zone thing, if I can find that. There you go, the UTC time zone. That's what that is. I think Eastern time zone is UTC -6. And I'm not sure for everything else. I could be wrong actually. But yeah, the easiest way is just to type in those cities I just named. And then if you're all over the world, then you may have to just, figure out what your nearest country is and then go from there. So for me, I'm in the Eastern time zone, so I'm gonna say NEW, which is New York, and that's in the Eastern time zone, and I will click that, that's that. Date format, you can leave it as it is. You can change it if you want, but I like to leave it as it is. Time format, I leave it as it is. When is your week start? Some people start on Monday, some people start on Sunday. I would say Sunday for me, or maybe Mondays is a new week, depending on how you operate. And then afterwards, just click on Save Changes. All right, so once you save changes, you want to go to where it says Discussion. So look where it says Discussion, click on that. All right, so from here, you want to uncheck some options. So the first thing that you want to uncheck is click the second one, allow link notifications from other blogs. And then it says allow people to submit comments to new posts. You can do that. Attempt to notify any blogs linked to from the post. Uncheck that. So the only thing that should be checked is the third option. All right, next thing, other comment settings. This option says automatically close comments on posts older than 28 days. You want to uncheck that 100%. All right, and then right here it says enable threaded nested comments 5 levels deep. You want to make that 2. So basically, think of like Instagram, think of Facebook, think of Twitter, and how the reply is like the main person, then there's a reply, and that's that. Well, that's what 2 levels deep is. Email me whenever somebody posts a comment. This is better if you have a blog, and if you want to respond to all comments, keep that there. But for now, I'm going to uncheck both of these options. And then before a comment appears, comment author must have a previously approved comment. You want to uncheck that, and then go all the way down, and just click on Save Changes. And then the final thing you want to do to initially set up WordPress is to go to Permalinks. So Permalinks right here. So this will have your domain name right here. So for us, it's a personal study. Yours will be your own domain name, or it may show those weird characters and numbers, like the letters and numbers. So if you see that, that's fine. Like I said, it will change automatically within about 12 to 24 hours. You will see that change. But the permalink is actually what comes after the domain name. So anything after that slash. So this part right here is your permalink. So in this situation, your permalink is 2022-12-18-sample post. This is actually today's date and the name of the post. And that's where you can show the date and name. Then you can see the month and name right here, boom, boom, boom. So what I want you to do is to go to post name and click that. So this is actually your website's name, / and then the name of your post or page. And I'll talk about post and page. If you don't know what that is, I'll talk about that in a future video that describes what WordPress is. And I'll kind of go into a little deeper dive on WordPress, just the basic settings so you can know what it is. But you want to click on post name. That's very, very important. And then afterwards, click on save changes. All right, so that's the main part that needs to be set up. The next thing you want to do is you want to make sure your users are good. So to do that, you want to go to users on the left side and then click on all users. And then from here, this is where you see all the people who are registered to your WordPress website. So right now it's a personal study. That is who you are. And notice that the role of the person is an administrator. So I'll talk about that in a quick second. To edit this person, you want to go and click on edit. So right here, now you're editing this user. You can change the first and last name. The username is a login name to go into WordPress. So to get into WordPress, you also have to log in. 9 times out of 10, when you're updating your website, you're actually going to log into WordPress, not Bluehost, not Namecheap. You're actually going to log into WordPress. And I'll show you how to log in and log out to WordPress in a little bit. But when you log in, it's going to ask you for your username. Your username is what that is right here. That's what you did when you first set up. So when you first set up Bluehost, you actually had a username that they gave you, and that was the name of your domain. And this cannot be changed as it says right here. But you can change your first and last name. So let me put my first and last name here, for example. And then right there, nickname, you can add a nickname if you want. I can make my nickname a personal study, which is the name of the site. And then what do you want to display your name publicly as? So whenever you write a post or make a page, really a blog post, what do you want your name to be displayed as? It can be displayed as your first name, your last name, your first and last name, your last and first name, or your nickname. In this situation, I'm going to put my first and last name, or I can even put a personal study, and let me actually add the word team. I can do that if I want to as well. And if I was to open this, now it says a personal study team, and that's what that is. So I can do that. Your email, what email do you want to use? I'll keep the email that you use to sign up for the account. And then that's that. You can change your profile picture, and I will show you an easier way to do that in a later video when we start adding some needed plugins. There's another way where you can add a profile picture. I won't do it this way. And then if you want to change your password, and this part is very important. So you actually don't have a password set up. So you want to click on set new password. And then this is the password that he gave you. You can use this password and right click, copy that and put that into your notepad and always use that. Or you can use a different password. So to use a different password, you just delete it and then say like your password. But as you can see, this password is very weak. In order to use this, you actually have to click on confirm use of weak password. And all this is saying basically is if your account gets hacked, it's not our fault. That's all they're saying. It's not our fault if your account gets hacked, plain and simple. But I actually would add a more difficult password in a little bit. Actually, let me add it right now. All right, so I added a stronger password. Obviously, I'm hiding it right now. And then after that's done, you would just go on the bottom and click on update profile. So now my profile is updated, and if I was to scroll down, you can see that I can set a new password if I want, but it's already set, I'm good. All right, now let me go back to, where am I at? So let me go back to all users on the users, and I'm gonna show you exactly how to add a user. So let's say you wanna add people to your team. You wanna go to users and you wanna click on add new on the top. You can also go to add new right here on the left side. but I'm gonna click the one on the top. All right, so this is where you can add a new user. So you give them a username, let's say a team member. It's funny. All right, so you can put that there, and then you put their email. So whatever their person's email is, you'll say their email at gmail.com, for example. And then the first and last name, you don't have to put it there. You can if you want to. The website is their own website if they have one. You don't have to add that, but you can if you want. And then give them a password. But if they don't have a password, they can also set a password their own self. So really what happens is when you actually click add new user, this option here that says send user notification and it's checked, I will leave that checked. And basically what happens is that the person will get an email and says, hey, you have an account, click here to log in. And then when it logs in, they're not gonna have a password unless you give them this password right here. But if they don't have that password, that's fine. They can go in and actually say forgot password. There's an option there, and they can set their own password, and that's all done. So I would just leave it like that and then click on add new user. But hold on, before you do that, there's a section called role. So if you look right here, the role, so what are the different roles right here? So ultimately, if you are an administrator really means that you have access to everything on the site. So you can update the plugins, you can add, delete users, and you can also delete the site. If you want to give somebody that role, that person will likely probably be the web developer. If you ever have a web developer, you create a new user and then you give them the administrator role and they'll be able to basically design a site and stuff like that. Or you can give it to any of your co-founders. The editor is the next level down from administrators. So an editor can do everything that an administrator can do. The only exception is that they cannot add plugins and they cannot delete your site. And I'm not sure if they can even add or remove users, but they can add posts, they can add pages, they can edit it, they can do all that. So that's what an editor does. Your editors can be your co-founders if you don't trust them. Obviously an editor, if you have a bunch of people who are writing your posts and your pages, you want to give them the editor role and things like that. Author role, the only difference between author and editor is that an editor can edit other people's posts and the author can only edit their own posts. That's literally the difference. Obviously, they can't move anything from the site. They can't add users. They can't do none of that. They can't add plugins. They can't do anything like that. And then the contributor, the only thing they can do is they can add their own posts. But when they write a post and they publish it, it actually will not go on WordPress. And the post is like a blog post. Think of like an article you want to write. If you are a contributor role, once you write the article, it will not actually be published on the website. An editor has to come in and actually look at it and approve it. An editor or administrator has to look at it and they're approving. They'll be able to approve it right then and there from the post screen. So that's what a contributor does, and that's all they can do. And a subscriber is just somebody who's just a subscriber to the page, but they cannot contribute. They're not an author or anything like that. So whatever user you choose, I'll just say choose wisely. The last thing I would say about it, however, is that, let me go back to the all users page. So I'm not going to add any user. The last thing I would say is that every website needs to have at least one administrator. So every website has to have at least one administrator because somebody has to be able to delete the site if need be. That's basically it. So it can be you as the founder or it can be whoever, but every website needs at least one administrator. So let me show you how to log in and log out into WordPress. So to do that, you want to click on the top right side where it says your name, and then you want to go to log out. That easy. All right, so you're now logged out of the WordPress. If you want to see your home page, you just want to go to your website right here, and that is your website. Boom. And as you can see, there's like no other way to go back to the dashboard. There's like no bar on the top. So now how do you log into WordPress? Now there's two ways to log in. There is the longer way and then there's the quicker way. The longer way is to go to Bluehost and then log into your Bluehost account. You probably want to bookmark this page right here. So you log into your Bluehost account, and once you log in, you'll be at the Bluehost homepage, and then you go to log into WordPress and it will automatically log you in. That's one way to get into WordPress. But the other way, which is the way I prefer, is you go to your website, personalstudy.com or whatever your website is, and when you're at your website, at the very end after .com, or whatever, like .io or whatever you have at the end, you want to click dash and then go to WP-admin. So WP-admin. So click return or enter, whatever is on your keyboard. And then now you're back at the screen. So this is actually your login screen. So make sure that whatever domain name you have, you want to click on dash WP admin. And even if your domain name looks all weird with those numbers and letters, at the very end of that, just click on dash and then do the same thing, WP admin. And you'll be back at the screen. And so from here, this is actually where you would add your username and your password. And if you don't know your password, let's say you didn't go to the user screen and set your password, you can go down here and click on lost your password, and then it will ask for your username or your email address. You just do that and then you go back. So let's go back to log in. All right, so let me log myself in. Log in. All right, so I'm in the game. So that is how you log out and log into WordPress. Now, when we first got to WordPress, I went and showed you the front end of the website. So on the left side, under the name of the site, I will go to visit site. And this is the website right now. So this is the front end of the website. This is what everybody sees. But there is a bar at the top right here. The question is, does everybody see the bar? The answer is no. The only people that see this bar are individuals who are logged into WordPress. But if you're just a regular user, then you would not see this bar. So perfect example is, let me actually right click copy, and then let me go to a new incognito window and right click paste. So now an incognito window, that is basically somebody completely random who was looking at the site. And so this is how it will look to them. But to you who is logged in, this is what you'll see. You'll see this bar at the top. They call this the administrator bar, is what they call it. I just wanted to show you that that's there, and this only applies to logged in individuals. To go to the dashboard, you want to go to dashboard right here, and that's fine. So the final thing I actually wanted to do is to go to settings and then go to general. All right, so now this place right here where it says the WordPress address URL and site URL. So what I want you to do actually is first wait until you got your domain name, it gets set. Like I said, it will automatically appear in about 12 to 24 hours. So if you don't see it, then don't worry about this option. But then when your website does work, you automatically just get logged out. And when that happens, your domain name is actually ready. And now what you do is that you basically type in your domain name here on the top, then it will actually take you to your website. But that's how you know, like if you ever try to use the temporary site, it doesn't work anymore, just use your domain name, and by that time you should be good. Or after you set up Bluehost, just wait from 12 to 24 hours, log in through Bluehost and see if your domain name comes. That's probably like the easiest way. But let's say everything does work and you see a domain name here. I want you to click on where it says HTTP, type in S, so HTTPS, and then do the same thing at the bottom, HTTPS. So after the P, put an S there, and then after the 2 slashes, put in www dot. Same thing for the bottom, put in www dot, boom. Then go to the very bottom, click on Save Changes. All right, so now it logs you out. So then now log in one more time. All right, so now you're back in, and if you double click on this, your bar, you see now HTTPS, www dot boom boom. So that is what I want you to have, and now we are good. And so now it is time to actually add your theme and then add the templates that's going to make your website look good. And to get that and to do that, click on this video right here when it's available. All right, so this is Vic from the Online Starting Block. Hit that like button, by the way, so this video can share everywhere. It's Vic from the Online Starting Block. Much love.